And hello, everyone. Greg here from the Con Hour, and I am stepping in again for Amy. And I think I need some theme music. I'm missing theme music here. What is
Yes,
it with everything? But we are here with David Balog or Balog,
Balog.
Balog, and we are here to discuss his day on the 12 Days of Page Turners, which Amy is hosting with Author Talk, and that starts December 1st, which I believe is your day.
Yes, I will be on the first.
And what are we going to be talking? Which book, or is it books or books? Books or
Currently
books?
still singular. Book
Okay.
2 is with my editor, but hopefully soon. Hopefully.
So, what got you into writing? What was your inspiration?
Well, I just finished up my master's degree, and I've been doing so much academic writing with the research papers and essays and everything else. I just wanted to write for fun. So I stopped off at Target, got a notebook and some pens, and just started writing because I just needed to do something creative. As much as I enjoy the academic and I enjoy doing the research, I needed some fun. And as I was writing different scenes and different ideas, the more I wrote, the more it came to me. And before I knew it, it started to pull together into something more coherent than just random tellings out of my brain.
Definitely, I've been there before, so I know what that's like for sure. So, tell us a little bit about your book. What genre and
My book is Necromancer's Lament. It's a young adult dark high fantasy. It's a wizard's memoir. Necromancer's Lament is looking back at his family life before magic discovers him, his apprenticeship, the friends he makes in spite of himself because he's not very good at it, and the adventures he ends up going on because, as an author, I can't allow him to be too comfortable for too long. As much as he would like to just stay home in his library and read and study magic, that's not as much fun for the reader. So sometimes you just have to boot your characters out of the house and make them do things whether they like it or not. Book 2 is currently with my editor, so when she's done with it and then sends it back, and then I send it back, and depending on how much back and forth we need to do, and formatting, and ISBNs, and uploading, and printing, I'm hoping by midwinter, maybe early spring for Necromancer's Sorrow, and I'm in the process of writing Necromancer's Grief to finish the trilogy.
very good, very good. And I actually have your first book, so people go read the book. It's a good one for sure. So, so without giving away anything, what kind of special? I mean, it's going to be on special. Is there anything in particular? Are you going to be having giveaways that day? Let's not talk about
Um,
the special, but are you going to have a giveaway?
I've talked down to that I'll be reducing the ebook. Depending on I told Jasmine to set it either 99 or 199, but I'm not quite sure what she's going to be setting it at yet.
So,
Unfortunately, I don't have as much control over everything as I would like, but
so it's still a surprise for everybody.
yeah, including myself.
Now, let's talk about covers because I know covers are a lot difficult for people. How did you go about with your cover?
um, well, fortunately, my cover artist lives about 45 minutes from my house, so I take him to dinner periodically, and we would work on the cover art and everything else. The As I was designing the cover, he was giving me feedback as well. Plus, I had an original cover when I was with Rock Hill Publishing. Now that I'm with Little Lion, I decided to go with the new cover. In part, from what I've learned in the couple of years since my book was originally published, which actually we just passed my second anniversary with that I realized that brighter colors and more focus on faces seem to draw more attention from prospective readers. So for the new cover, I updated where it's closer up on their faces, and I made it a little brighter and shinier to draw more attention. And also because I had a little more time to work with it, I now have chapter art. My main character, as just part of his background, he decided that he liked to do charcoal sketching since he works. His father's a blacksmith, so he has access to a lot of coal. So he just got into sketching. And what my cover artist did is as he read through the book, he found scenes that he liked, uh, drew them on his iPad, and then used a filter to make everything look like it was done in charcoal. So it looks like my main character drew all of the sketches at the beginning of each chapter.
Oh no, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Now,
that was a great idea. He knows his art.
now, like Amy said, where's the owl? That's what's missing because we usually.
Well, she's right there on the cover. She's right there between the two. She's kind of hidden in there, but she is right there.
Very cool. Now I know for a fact that you go to a lot of conventions and stuff like that. But do you dress up as the character or try to dress up as the character?
Yes. In most cases, I dress up as my character. I have an owl that sits on my shoulder, so that's as part of the character. And the owl I gotten from another crafter. I've gotten a lot from a lot of crafters working going to so many shows. So some of my table decorations I picked up from other crafters. I had Cecilia made specially, so she sits on my shoulder. Recently, we've done there was a couple of Halloween conventions, so I was able to go a little deeper into the makeup for Hollow Wondrous and ZombiePalooza, so I could go a little, a little more interesting in my look.
Now I have to ask this question just for Amy.
Uh-huh.
Where is ZombiePalooza? And when is
this year it was held in Fairview Park, Northeast Ohio. It's a suburb of Cleveland. Andy puts on, he runs Odd Mall, and he does a lot of shows mostly in the Akron Canton area, but sometimes he comes up into the Cleveland area as well. And it's not that far from my house that I can do most of those shows, and that I can do the show and go home, so I don't have to pay for hotel costs or anything. I'll occasionally do a further show. I recently did the Louisville Book Festival, which is in Kentucky. I did a convention in Dayton, in Southwest Ohio, Indianapolis. So every now and then I'll range a little bit out of my territory, because you just kind of have to spread the wealth and find new areas so that people know, let new people know that your book exists, not just the same ones that you see in the same area.
Well, I'm sure Amy's going to get with you on since the ZombiePalooza is so close, she might want to stay at your house for that one.
Yes, definitely. If Amy wants to come up, I've got a guest room for her. So if she wants to come to ZombiePalooza, I'll make space for her to get there.
There you go, Amy. That one was for you. She's asking a question: is where's the stained glass background? She missed seeing it.
Oh, I was recently redoing all of my comic books because I had books, and then I had new books, and then I had newer new books, and I finally collated all of those books, and they're blocking up the stained glass, so I have to do this out of my library instead of in my garage where I have my stained glass background. Which cool. I want to do that, but I have to move all those comics, and I have 41 boxes to to shift around. I've been collecting comics since the mid '80s, so I've got quite a collection.
That is quite a collection. Now I have to ask this. Speaking of comic books, do you feel that your book is like a abundant of these comic books combined? Did you get any inspiration from the comic books to write the story, or?
I probably picked up a few ideas from the comic books over the years because, like I said, I've been collecting for over 40 years. A lot more of it has come from D&D and other role-playing games. I've played many of the characters in my book, so I really got deep into their backgrounds. And while playing D&D, I've done a lot of world building, and that really helps me create the world that all of this takes place in. creating the novel was the first time that the characters ever interacted because they were all part of different campaigns and different worlds at first. And I learned that not all of them get along well, which just creates, an interesting dynamic with all of the characters. And yeah, if everybody got along and everything was happy, sometimes you need that tension.
Wouldn't be much of a story. You got to have that little. You got to have conflict.
Exactly. If I was writing young children's books, yes, you want the happy and the fluffy, but as you get into the angsty young adult age, then you need a little bit more conflict and a little more tension in the story.
What day are you to join my crazy self for the 12 days?
I am there.
She missed that line.
Yes, Amy.
She was late to her own show.
I will be there at the beginning. I will be there at the end on the 12th day. If you need me for any other day in between, I'll see what I can do.
See, Amy, you got a fan club there. Now,
I'll always be there for you, Amy.
I'm just so excited. I think she's more excited about the ZombiePalooza.
It wasn't a big festival, but I did very well at it. The fact that I did went full zombie with it's probably helped.
Well, that's going to be another question because this spikes my intrigue. Writing a fantasy book and going to like a zombie you would picture as horror.
Mm-hmm.
What type of correlation did you have with your books at a show like that?
Well, I write more of a dark fantasy. There are a lot of undead creatures in my books. And my main character hates the undead, and this is why he goes into magic, is so that he can learn how to remove the undead from his life. Without giving anything away, because it's in chapter 1. As a child, he was assaulted by 2 creatures that tried to eat him, and he's had a fear and hatred of them ever since.
So, to give people an idea, with the D&D world, you would say he was more like a cleric.
He has
paladin or cleric.
He's a wizard with some cleric tendencies. Over time, he learns. Keeping with a D&D mindset, he learns to harness his positive energy and channel that from within.
That's a good way to put it, especially for D&D fans. So would you definitely suggest the book for D&D fans? I would.
Oh, absolutely. I worked really hard to make it not sound like, especially during any time where there's any kind of combat, so that it doesn't sound like it's written, in initiative order, which I've come across a number of novels that do that, and it really reads like you're reading a D&D. You're reading an actual play instead of reading a novel.
So basically, you don't see the dice rolls in the book.
Yeah, I worked really hard to hide those dice rolls.
You can tell he did a critical hit here.
Yeah. And sometimes by mistake. Sometimes you kill the wrong thing, and when you're only trying to annoy it or get it off to the side, and then when the wrong thing blows up, then that tends to blow up in your face too. Yes, my character is not perfect, and he'll be the first to admit it. Actually, no, he would be the last to admit it, but he would be the first to realize it.
Hey, Mish, welcome to Author Talk. We're talking about the 12 Days of Page Turners, which Amy is having a special, which starts December 1st and ends December 12th. And the 1st through 11th is going to feature authors, which are going to have specials. And the 12th is going to be a compilation of all the authors together. So there's a lot to it. Oh, there's going to be a ton of new books, and there are actually
lots of new books. I always look forward to not only talking on during the 12 days, but watching it so that I can see, so I can visit with my other authors as well as learn what they're up to and what kind of new books they're putting out.
So, unfortunately, I don't have Amy as a guest this year like we did last year. on our show to talk about it. I got booked pretty fast this year. I was actually booked 3 months in advance. But we are going to talk about it some on one of our Tuesday shows on the Con Hour. So, everyone, I want to thank David for being on today for the 12 days of Mage Turners. And we look forward to seeing you on December 1st. And for everybody, I believe Amy's fixing to have another author talk coming up. So we will talk to y'all later, and y'all have a good day.
Bye. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for being on.